for drop top tees, and we're here today to do a quick video on oil catch cans, the most recent mod to our car. Now, if you ask on the forums, you're probably going to have a very diverse opinion. Actually, it's either binary, because it's either yes or no, whether you should put a catch can on your car. Is it beneficial or not? If you're just doing it as a daily driver, not pushing your car, if you don't mod your car, it probably isn't really something you need to do. The car is designed to run for normal driving, and it's not going to help you that much. However, if you mod your car, if you drive it aggressively a lot, then it is something that you should consider looking into. And the reason being, I know if you watch all my videos, you know when we put on our blow-off valve, we had to take off the intake to the turbo, and there was some oil in there. You could feel it, you could see it, and that's because we drive this car hard. It's just the way the car is. If you drive it hard, you'll start getting some oil into the intake, and what's bad is if you get enough that it comes down into the filter, it clogs it all up, and if you get a lot into the turbo, it can reduce the efficiency of your combustion. So in our case, we decided to go with it. I didn't put one on until I realized I was getting some oil into the intake, and at that point it's like, yeah, we need to do this. It's a real simple install. You can do it in under 15 minutes with just minimum tools. You basically need a screwdriver and some Allen wrenches and one ratchet. Normally I have a hood mount. I put it here anyway just to see how it's going to work. Actually, it doesn't make my hood look off or anything. If you have a manual transmission, and this is the Eurocompulsion kit, you'll get this straight bar that comes out like this. If you have an automatic transmission, this bracket will be bent and it mounts back here, I believe, on this bolt, and it sits down in here. So depending on what style transmission you have, the way you mount it will be just a little bit off. If you don't want to put it here, if you have a hood lift kit, there's another hole right here you can use, or here, depending on what size bolt you want to go with. I just chose to try it here. I did it just to see if it would make the hood look different, and it doesn't actually change it at all. But here's the thing. If you look at my hoses, you see how this one has a little step down right here, because this is a little bit narrower than the hose over here. So they do a little step down, and if you watch the video like they show on their site, they link you to a forum entry that shows how to install the manual transmission one. You'll notice that this is over here in the original pictures, and then at the end they switch it to put it over here, and they say it doesn't matter which way you put them on. Actually, it does matter, because inside your catch can there's a set of baffles. There's 2 baffles, and so the reason you flip them around is so they don't overlap. If I would have this hose over here, it would cross over right here and lift way up high. It just doesn't look as good. I like it to look like this, one inside the other. So it's a real simple fix to get it set up to where you can put it in this configuration. I'm going to take this part off, and I'll show you the catch can and inside it and how to switch it around so that you can mount it in this configuration. It just looks more clean. And what I'm doing right here is pretty much the way you're going to end up mounting them in the beginning. The only difference is, here, let me show you. I have it set up. Here's the original hose, okay? The original hose just goes like this with these little clamps. You have to pinch those off with pliers, pull them off, and then when you put it back on, instead of the flow going like this, it's going to go here, drop. As everything moves over the baffles, the oil will drop out down into the container, and hopefully oil-free air will come back this way. So you have to take wrench and clip those off. Now we just take this off. So this, what I'm using is I'm using a 5/32 because I have SAE Allen wrench. And when you get the oil can, it'll come like this. You have to mount it onto the bracket. And then this just unscrews.
The sun is in the way.
Okay, let's move over here. This just unscrews.
Haven't.
And there we go. Now I just put this on yesterday. There's not going to be any oil in it. All we did was drive it about 5 miles today to work. But here's the baffles. When you get it, the baffles are over on this side. But what happens is, as the oil collects in here, every time you do an oil change, unscrew it, empty it out. Depending on how hard you drive it, will change how much oil is in here. In order to change the position of the baffles, you have to use, and for me, a 3/32. And there's little screws in here. I don't know how well they show up. Here, do you see it right here? There's one on each side. And you just loosen these. And if you pull both out, these come loose. And you just flip position. So when you get it from Eurocompulsion or whomever, it'll be over here, screwed in over here. You take these out, flip them around, and screw them in on the other side. Yeah, you have to get the holes lined up. Oops. Thank you. Let me see that one. Okay, so now we've taken stock, they were over here, we undid the bolt, put them over here, screwed them back in. Okay, so we just have to tighten this back up. If you're using a metric set of Allen wrenches, it's a 4. And again, the tutorial they have on the Eurocompulsion page where it says click here for manual, you do everything exactly like that, except for you want to switch the baffles around too if you want to have the hose configuration that they ended up with. And now we just remount these hoses. If you were doing the original install, you'd put these hoses on here and then the hoses on over here, and you just slide them down, clamp them down. And then I just put the screws on the outside of each one just to make it easier to do. Much easier to work with than if they were banging into each other on the middle side, on the inside of them. I'll check this one out. Okay, and you're all done. Now, like I said, if you aren't going to do other mods on your car and you're just driving it to commute to work or something, this isn't probably something you need to do. If you are modding your car heavily and you're driving it aggressively, whether it's just on roads or you're tracking it or SCCA or something like that, definitely a good idea to do, because you will start getting oil into your intake, and if that gets in your filter, it clogs it up. If it gets in the turbo, from there it just helps decrease the performance of your motor, which is the opposite of all your mods, so you don't want that. There's different kinds of catch cans. Eurocompulsion has one. I think Mishimoto sells one that's not designed just to fit here, so you're going to have to engineer your own mounting solution. With the Eurocompulsion one, again, manual, comes out here with the straight bar. If you have an automatic and order it, this mounting bracket will be a little bit wider and it'll be bent at the end, and it mounts back to the screw right here. They have a video for that shows you exactly what to do. And I highly recommend, if you're going to do it, take the time to flip the baffle, switch the way the hoses are in the video, and it just ends up looking cleaner. I may cut this one down just a little bit so that it just completes the loop inside here without popping up. I like it when it looks like this. It just looks a little cleaner to me. Alright, so there you go. If you like the video, thumbs up. Give me a subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And never be afraid to come to our t-shirt shop and buy a t-shirt. Thank you. Goodbye.